We are back. This is Paranormal Experience with my guest, Butch Witkowski, and we have been having such a fantastic conversation. And we were just discussing his group's truck. Well, there are two of them, and what he carries when they are out in the field doing research and investigations. And I'm telling you, it's like driving a NASA vehicle. This has so much stuff. And I'm impressed. I really am impressed because you're ready for practically every occasion.
There isn't a case that I couldn't, even if it was paranormal. And I'm not in the in that line. I help, but I'm no investigator for that. But it doesn't matter. Paranormal, ufology, cryptozoology, anything weird in the water, underwater. We have underwater cameras. We just bought a drone, so we have a drone now. We have metal detectors. I mean, how many UFO researchers or paranormal people or cryptozoology people carry climbing gear?
I know one Bigfoot guy because when I watched his videos, that was kind of a thing that made me go, I would never make it through that.
Well, we went to the Brown. We went down to the Brown Mountain Lights down in North Carolina. We're at the one lookout point, right? But we wanted to get down to the trail. Well, to get down the trail, we had to go all the way to the bottom of the mountain and come all the way up the other side, which is crazy because on the other side of the wall, we were standing 30 feet below us was the trail. So we just hooked everything up and rappelled down and done what we had to do.
There you go. And I could probably rappel, but the places that he was wandering through, he was a very experienced climber. So I was just sitting there watching the video going, gracious, I need to get in better shape. So.
Well, I got about halfway down before I started to turn upside down.
Oh, did you? That's pretty good.
But I made it.
Yep. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be effective.
That's correct. I'm not out for pretty. I'm just out to get her done.
That's right.
But it's, if you're going to do this, then, and I'm not telling everybody to go out and buy what we got. I mean, this is almost 29 years worth of stuff here.
Yes.
But I always tell people, when you do even if it's just a little day pack you're going to carry, whatever you're going to do, try to make sure the equipment you have is decent. It doesn't have to be top of the line. It doesn't have to be, Kmart special either. But, if you're going to buy a pair of binoculars, in lieu of the $10 pair, maybe you want to look at the $50 pair.
Exactly.
Flashlights, and, instead of Joe's Amico's flashlight you got for free 2 Christmases ago, go buy yourself a good flashlight. Carry a small first aid kit, which you can buy in a little box. I mean, there's so many little things you can do. A pencil. I can't tell you how many people I've run into already don't even have a pencil and paper with them. Makes me nuts.
That is crazy because you're going to have to denote something.
Mm-hmm.
And if nothing else, a latitude and longitude on where you had to leave something.
GPS. And a lot of this stuff you can get on eBay. I mean, you can get a decent GPS on eBay for $35, $40. It may be used, but it works. If you want to buy a new one for $300 or $400, go ahead. But I'll spend the $35 and buy a used one. But it is what it is, and you're going to get out of it what you put into it.
Exactly.
If I go out for a week, I don't have to worry about hotel bills or somebody breaking into the truck or stealing the truck while I'm in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I'm right there. I'm there, and my people are there. And when we go in the field, we usually go a team of 4 or 6 people. So there's always somebody at the camp. Of course, these guys eat like horses, so 3 of the coolers that normally one would have drinks, one would have food, and the other one would just have whatever. It's filled with food to the top.
I can see that.
Oh my God, they eat. Wow.
Well, what is, to you personally, what is the one thing that if you are caught in a situation that you're having an experience that you're going to need right then. The one thing that needs to be in your pocket or on your person.
Cell phone.
Why?
Because my cell phone, I bought a Seek FLIR for it, so I can use it for FLIR. I can use it to make emergency calls. I can make recordings with it. I have a Samsung S9, the big one. I can make drawings on it. I can take notes with it. I can handwrite notes with it. Mm-hmm. I can do a lot of stuff with well, it's not little, but I can do a lot of stuff with the phone. That and a good knife.
Yeah, definitely the good knife too.
Mm-hmm.
People laugh because even if you don't have cell service, I am always whipping my phone out to do recordings, voice recordings when I'm feeling like there's something around me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pretty amazing.
Oh yeah, it's simple stuff, but when you're in the field, we got tables set up. There's all kind of equipment in the truck on the tables. I mean, cameras, and there's just so much stuff. I can't imagine anything that we don't carry. I really don't. I don't know what we would have to put in the truck that we don't. The last thing that we looked at was a drone, and we just bought that. So I'll play with that when the weather gets a little better in the backyard. Probably break a few windows in the neighborhood, but I said to my wife, I was going to start it up in the living room. She says, right into that 48-inch TV screen, right? And I went like, no, I guess I'll go outside.
I'm sorry, but that is so funny, and that would be my life.
And that's exactly what would happen with me. I'd fired it up and go right through the TV set.
Well, I would have to leave if that happened because my husband just got himself one, and it's ridiculous. And I'm not touching it. Denise Pridemore wants to know how often you go out to investigate.
If it's something we have scheduled, we can go a couple times a month. If it's something that comes in that we're going to go out and investigate, and if we get the call, we go. We'll go anytime, anywhere. Last one we had was a piece of something they thought might have been a big piece of Bigfoot hand or something like that. And that was down in Virginia, Northern Virginia. And we got the call at 11 o'clock at night. We were on the road at 12:30. We got there at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Was it a valid call?
Yes, but it was a bear. It was a bear claw.
Okay.
But when you looked at it on the video, on the photograph they sent, it did look like a human hand.
Poor bear.
But it was kind of rotted, and it had to look. Let's put it that way. But looking at a picture and looking at it in person was two different things. So it was worth the drive.
Is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It always is.
Well, I know that we've only got about almost 6 minutes left, but I would like to know what the most interesting and unusual, they don't have to be the same, case you've experienced was that you were able to get valid evidence for and was the one thing that made you go, well, my gosh, this really is it.
I would say the Carbondale case. Although that was early on when we first started, and there's been a lot of cases after, and there were a bunch of cases before, that one was the best because we were there 3 times, and not having the report that everybody was reading, we didn't have that at that point. So we were going at it cold with witnesses and mapping and drawings and photographs and measurements and depth and all that stuff of the silt pond and samples. And so we were just really in the midst of it. And then when we got the report, the real report, the report that was filed, all this other stuff, it all came together so easy, because everything that was in that report, we proved wrong. The mapping was wrong. Their distances were wrong. Their location was wrong. Their GPS longitude and latitude were off. Their timing was off. There were just so many things that were wrong that we corrected. And I published our corrections. I sent the copy to the guy that made that report. And, of course, I never heard back from him. Well, I did one time. He sent me a Christmas card. But just knowing that, you know, through that 2 or 3 years that we messed around with it and were there and back and forth, that it paid off. It all came together. And we were right. Right from the beginning, we were right. This whole thing doesn't make any sense. When we first got there, when we very first walked up to that silt pond, and you know, having read the report that was published, the report, not the one that he had hidden, I looked at both my guys and I'm like, something's not right here. And one of the guys with us was also a police officer. Matter of fact, he was still in uniform. He just got done working. And I said, this isn't right. This doesn't make any sense. And I said, just doesn't. Even the descriptions, I said, look at this place. It doesn't even look anything like this guy's saying. But again, you know, this guy publishes something. People are going to look at it and go like, oh, so he got it all figured out, so we don't have to go up there and look. So they never went up and looked. They just took him at his word. Well, we didn't take him at his word. And don't let people talk you into anything. Get your own thing. Do your own thing. Come up with your own conclusion. Right, wrong, or indifferent. It's yours. You own it.
Well, yes.
And that's the way you got to do it.
Yes. You know, I sit there with my side of things, with the paranormal side of things, and I go into a location that's been, you know, documented and been on television shows and all this other stuff. And it makes me crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I would so much rather go someplace and not know anything about it. And
well, yeah, and one of the things we've done a couple of times already, we've had people that they have an interest in something, and they'll send me an email or something, or they'll catch me off of Facebook, and they'll say like, hey, if you get in this area and you're doing something, I'd really like to come out and, you know, see how it's done or what's going on. Yeah, you know, we do that too. I've done that a few times. And hey, that's the only way they're going to even know what they're doing. You know, if they're just coming out to see if it's like reality TV, they're going to be really upset, because paranormal, they're going to sit in the dark.
yes.
They're going to be hungry and thirsty, and every little crack and creak that they hear, they're going to think it's the ghost coming to get them. And something flying in the sky, they're going to think Star Wars is all over the place. So, and everything that moves in the woods is Bigfoot. So, you know, I always tell people, are you sure you really want to do this? Most say yes. Surprisingly more women than men.
I think it's the intuitive factor. I think that the majority of women I know who do paranormal research, even the ones that laugh at the idea that it could possibly be true, are intuitives. But it's just, you know, we have to be, even if we don't know what it is, because, you know, we're the nurturers, we're the child care as a rule person.
And smarter.
Well,
they're smarter. They're smarter. I mean, I went on investigation with that one group. They took me along as an observer, and you know, I had a lot of questions. I'd never been on one of these things, right? So I had a lot of questions. The older daughter, I mean, she said, okay, what do you want to know? And every time I asked a question, she had an answer.
There you go.
And I asked the one guy, I asked her husband a question, right? He just looked at me like, I don't know. You dumbass.
That's hilarious. Well, you know, I hadn't really thought of it that way, but it is because women are attentive.
Mm-hmm. Too. Sure.
But we're out of time, Butch.
That always happens.
I know. I don't know what's up with that. I am so excited to have had you on. I've so much enjoyed our conversation. The website is www.uforcop.com.